Ew. Hi, welcome back to the third week of fall reading. I don't know why I was talking like that. I never know how to start these videos. But I'm going to jump right into it because I've already started reading my first... I've already started reading my first book for the third week of fall reading videos. So, I have read... Listen, I read like one like gothic romance fantasy book, still a romance, and then I've read 3 fall romances. I wanted to kind of break it up. I'm still reading a romance, but like different kind of vibe, you know? So, I'm just gonna jump right into talking about this one because I want to update before I get too far, but I'm in a big reading mood, so I would like to read a lot tonight. So the first book that I'm reading is Leave Me Behind by K.M. Moronova. That's a cool name. And I think this would be considered a dark romance based off the warning page. Okay, so where I'm at right now, I am only 64 pages in. And what has happened so far, and this isn't a spoiler because it is pretty much what it gives you in the description, but I'm going to give you a little bit more detail. Not spoilers though. So you have Nell and you have Bones. His name is Bones. So there are 3 secret dark forces squads that are under the guise of like, they're on military bases, so people just think they're special ops. But they're actually dark ops. So they handle... Well, I'll get to what they handle in a minute because there's a good example that I know for a fact, like, not for a fact. I completely believe this happens in real life. However, let me read you... Wow, I actually just read quite a bit. Let me read you the 3 different squads, okay? So there's Riot, which is they're considered the executors of traitors, and that is the group that Nell was in. And then the next one is called Hades, and they're called the hounds they send to wreak havoc. And then Malum, which is the evil, the squad that goes where no one else can or is qualified to go, to snuff out the enemy quietly like ghosts in the darkness of night. So basically, Bones is in Malum, Nell was in Riot, and then her whole squad, except for her, gets killed on a mission, I think 2 years prior. Anyway, she loses her whole team, and she's the only survivor. So then, a couple years later, she is pulled based on her skill set, and what she believes is a retaliation to that attack. She is pulled to move to the Malum squad. So, she knows that she is going to be the second in command under Bones. And he's not the sergeant. Someone else is the sergeant. I'm doing so bad. Like, this is not a quick description. Okay, let me just make this short. She finds out she's going to be working for Bones because his second in command got... because Riot Squad couldn't get there in time. So all of Malum hates Riot Squad. And guess who's coming into Malum? Nell, who was on Riot Squad. Okay, so she knows she's going to be working with Bones. Like, they are partners. She is his second, right? So, the book starts with Nell getting on a plane and sitting in between 2 guys who happen to be twins. This will come up again later. She wants to hook up with one of them for one last night of fun. And then he was like, ooh, ha, 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 come party with us. She shows up, and the psychopath brother, her words, not mine, has trouble meeting people, the words of his twin brother. And he was like, actually, you should go home and bang him, not me. So then she does. She goes back to the hotel, bangs this guy, and he's very much like, I don't have an interest in getting to know the people I hook up with. And she was like, we've all been there, sis. Basically, when they're done... Why did I do that? Basically, when they're done, she's like, I'm actually going to beat him to his own game. So she's like, you can leave now. That was great. Bye. And then he's like, you know what? No one's ever said that to me. I don't like it. So then they go out to eat. They get to know each other a little bit. And they kind of realize that, and keep in mind, she knows his identity right now because she's just hooking up with a stranger. Turns out, guess what? Bradshaw is Bones. Never saw that one coming. Definitely not why I picked up the book. So then he immediately is like, oh, actually, I hate you because my partner's dead because of you. So then... where I'm at right now is they have to work together. Okay, they've just gone on their training mission and they're going to be there for a month. Now, my thoughts so far, having a good time. I'm having a good time. What I don't understand, right? So his twin brother, Aaron, is the sergeant and he's not disguised. Bones, or Bradshaw, the other twin, he always wears a mask, but you can still see the top of it. Like, you can see this much. You can see hair, eyes, eyebrows, and scars. But he doesn't shower with anyone. Like, he doesn't shower with the squad. He doesn't change in front of them because no one can know his identity. Nell obviously knows it, as does his brother. But what I don't understand, you were told on, like, the first few pages, him and Aaron are, like, identical, except for the fact that Bradshaw's eyes are slightly lighter and he has scars. But you're telling me this squad hasn't noticed that this guy is absolutely identical to their sergeant and is not connecting the pieces? That, to me, is a little hard to follow. You know, like, that's a little bit hard to follow. It's all in the eyebrows. You could not tell me, you would not be like, you have the same eyebrows. What else has happened? Here's a part that I was reading and I had to be like, okay, you cannot convince me that this is not true. And I'm not even like grasping at straws here. I know I'm going to read this and people are going to be like, yeah, no shit, that really does happen. But it's just like, every time it's brought back to your attention, you're like, oh yeah, so it says, covert units were formed to keep everyone blissfully ignorant of the darkness that truly unfolds in this world. Sometimes we do truly morally corrupt things, like taking out scientists in other countries that are working on new methods of curing diseases. So basically, these squads exist so that the government doesn't have to take credit or ownership for these kind of attacks happening. And that's where we're at right now, having a good time. But I wanted to update you there before I have further thoughts, and while it's still new to me. So, I am kind of in a reading mood tonight. I would like to get a lot done. Also, update if you saw the last video. I went to my big girl doctor's appointment and I went all by myself. I'm almost 30. I went and it was fine. I cried. I cried before the doctor came. I cried and the nurse was like, "You're okay?" And I was like, "I know I'm okay, but I'm scared." I'm going to read a little bit, and then next time I talk to you, we're going to kind of talk about the game plan for this week, because we had our fun, cutesy, folly things already. It's time to get into, like, haunted houses, haunted hay rides, spooky paintball, stuff like that. It's time to get into it. I also want to figure out dinner, and I need to drink some water. Okay.
Hands that reach but never touch me.
I have no updates because I finished the book. I read the rest of it today. Also, Halloween earrings on. Last night, okay, like the day before yesterday, I read like the prologue and the first chapter of this, and then last night I read last night I read like 100 pages, a little more, a little less. I know that I ended on page like, I read a lot last night. And then I went to work today and I literally read all but maybe the last 60, 80 pages, and I came home and read it. And so you didn't get like play-by-play reactions to things, but I want to share. I decided to make a note to talk about my things as I was thinking them. So I will put, if you don't want spoilers, I will put when that is over. They're not going to be crazy spoilers, but they are kind of. I'm not going to give exact names, but okay, so this is what I was thinking as it was happening. I said, okay, I have a theory about Jenkins. He said, the way to truly break someone is to make them trust you first. And then she left him. He was it says in the book that she left him where he was, but it never actually said that she watched him die. Or if it did, she didn't actually watch it. She just left him behind because he was dying. So then I started to have this theory, like, is this MFer actually alive? And if he is, he has to be the bad guy. And then my second note was, I'm worried Aaron is not as good as he seems, and if he is good, that he will be. And then on page 229, I put in all caps, Aaron and Jenkins were partners, maybe? This is my note. So then, my other thing that I want to talk about, which is kind of where I get to the spoilery part. The whole reason he hated her is because her team is responsible for one of his people getting. And then, to save her life, He lets them all, everybody close to him, get. So you hated her because one person was, but then you love her, and then like 10 people. I guess that is my biggest issue with this book. I remember thinking that at the end, because I was like, wow, there's like a 3-year time jump at the end of the book, and all these people survived all these missions, all this stuff, just to be offed for this girl. Anyway, okay, spoilers should be over. My overall take of this book is I went into it because I wanted something a little different, a little darker, higher stakes than what I've been reading. Every once in a while, I mean, I would consider this a dark romance. I know some people that avidly read dark romance will probably think this is like child's play. Like, it's not bad at all. This is not what I day-to-day read. Like, I don't seek out books where they're doing the nasty and, like, with blood. And, like, she's carving stuff into his butt. Like, that's not my go-to. Every once in a while, it's okay to pick up something a little different. And I got what I anticipated to get out of this book. And to be fair, I also enjoyed this book. I read it in 2 days. Most of that was today. And it honestly kind of flew by. I thought the pacing was good. It did kind of have me a couple times being like, oh, you know, shocked about it. Like, it just kind of, like, because I had no expectation. I mean, I had my theories, and they all kind of happened. But not directly in the way I thought they were going to. You know what I mean? Like, the thing I suspected, I guess there was 2 or 3 major things that I was anticipating, and they did happen, but they happened differently, and the result was also different. Kind of. Overall, good time. If someone wants and it was a standalone. However, I know she has another book coming out in this world that is going to be a series. I don't know if these people I know they're not the characters. I wonder if they'll, like, in passing show up, but I don't know. First book done. And done very quickly. That being said, I have no idea what I'm going to pick up next. I have, I guess, 4 books on my TBR that I want to do this month. So I have the other 2 fall books that I got the same time I got this book. I don't remember what they're called. I'll show them to you later. And then I have, was it called Spookily Yours? That I am reading in, like, a book club, except it's over Discord. We're not meeting in person, anything like that. And the girl whose Discord I'm in, she actually recommended me the book, and then it ended up being in the poll for books like a week or 2 later for the book club to decide, and that's what was voted. So it was kind of like, I mean, she recommended it to me, and then the book club picked that book out of like 4 or 5 options. So I need to read that, but that won't be happening until the end of October, so I might save that for the last video or something. And I think hopefully that one's just like a really quick read. So the only other thing I think I really want to try to read this year, and I would like to read it during spooky season, I have never read a Stephanie Garber book, but I want to start with the Caraval series. And I feel like that'd be so good to read right now. I just don't think I want to jump into fantasy right this minute. And I think, in my mind, I also don't want to read romance, but I think that's what I'm going to end up reading. But then that begs the question, do I keep reading fall romances, or do I go back to, like, witchy books? Because there's a couple other books up there that I wanted to read. And just because I bought those 2 fall books this year does not mean I have to read them, but I wanted to. If I can keep reading a book every 2 or 3 days, I'm great. I'm doing great. Maybe it's the depression or the unemployment, but I'm kind of reading a lot of books this year. After, like, not reading books for a couple months last year, just with everything that happened, I'm, like, getting back into the swing of it and stuff, which is also why I'm really enjoying making these videos consistently again, because not that it holds me accountable, because it is a hobby and you should only do it as it pleases, but this gives me, like, and I make crappy videos. I know I make crappy videos. I don't go out of my way to pay for big editing software. I don't go out of my, like, 1, I can't afford it, and 2, like, I'm just having a good time. So I never stopped loving books. I just for a long time had a weird relationship with it because where I was in my own life and my headspace and what I thought about love and real life and all that stuff. And I love reading books about love. So, like, my reading was really affected last year. So I'm very happy that, 1, I'm enjoying it again. 2, I am reading a lot of books and it's really fun, and it's really fun to be doing consistent videos again. Like this is the longest I've kept it up, I think, because, you know, life just happens and then my videos take a back seat to it. But I tend not to share, like, this is ironic because I have the Healing Diary series, but like if stuff was going on in my life or happening, I would tend to not talk about it in my videos, so then I just wouldn't record. I know I have other videos called like Healing Diaries and stuff, and they are, but I think all of my videos are kind of little diaries, and I will not look at my YouTube channel for a very long time, and every once in a while I will go back and watch videos that are years old, and it's just so interesting to see yourself like that. Like, I mean, of course you can look at pictures and stuff and that's fun too, but like seeing videos, come on. So here I am yapping again for 10 more minutes, and when I'm editing this, I'm gonna hate myself. Okay, I want to go to bed. I'm so tired. I read so much today. I was like falling asleep. I was like, okay, I gotta stop yapping. Your rubber Jeez, can you tell how long I was holding this book yesterday? It's just a white on the spine. Eek. Okay. And then today I read The Cursed Princess Club. I saw this online and I bought it because it was just like super cute and colorful, and I read it. I'm not the biggest like manga graphic novel person, but I have a few. And I kind of like this one. I wouldn't mind reading the next one. I'm not gonna like order it tonight, but I do kind of want to read it. So when I just have some extra money, I probably will order it. And if you like cute little graphic novels, like this one's a cute one, and it's a good size, you know. It could take you a day or two to read it if you didn't just sit down and, you know, whatever. But it was cute, and it is a series. Okay, something that I want to talk about, it is October 10th right now. I feel like October is slipping out of my hands because I have so much I want to do. I have so many books I want to read. Here's my other thing. This is coming out, this is going to be the 3rd week. So I still have so many books I want to read. And so the 2 other folly romance books I have, I feel like I'm putting them on the back burner because I've already read so many fall romances. I feel like they're not going to be so folly that I couldn't read them at other times of the year, and it might be just enough to give me that fall feeling when I'm craving it at different times. But I don't think they're folly enough right now to put me in the mood, but I also don't know anything about these books, so I could be wrong. I will say, the one that I'm adamant about reading, I think, I say the last couple of Halloweens, I'm going to read it during Halloween. I'm going to read it during Halloween. I think I'm going to finally read Caraval because I want to read Stephanie Garber's books, but I want to read them in order. So I need to read Caraval. And also it's like, hello, a magic circus? Isn't that what it is? Isn't it like circus-esque? I'm realizing I don't have any idea what this book is about. I want to show you something that I got today. Okay, this is throwing a little bit of a wrench in my plans. I got this book today. I deleted my social media. Well, I still have my social media. I deleted the apps off my phone. I don't check my social media anymore, so I have not been updated on anything. Like, I have asked my mom to follow Sarah J. Maas so I can still see an announcement. Okay. I know her, kind of. We used to chat over Instagram all the time. I remember when she started writing this book. She was a query for Shelby Mahurin, who wrote my favorite trilogy ever. So of course, me and Shelby would talk online all the time. Turned into me and Jordan talking online a bit. And I saw this and I was like, I had like internally be like, so I bought it. This is throwing a bit of a wrench in plans because something else that I've kind of wanted to watch this fall is rewatching Teen Wolf. I never finished it, but those first couple seasons, I love them. So what better than a werewolf book? Could I squeeze this in? Probably not. Here's the other thing. Part of me really wants to read this fall, but I'm having this weird thing with series because I used to be a chronic non-series finisher, but now I'm like, I don't know when the next one's coming out and I don't want to wait because what if I forget everything? Because I think I just have too many stories in my head now. When I first started reading, it wasn't that bad. So I really want to read it, but I also wanted to read the second Scarlet Veil book, which is Shelby Mahurin, this fall, which I've forgotten about till just now. But werewolves during fall, hello. Also, okay, here's the game plan. I think I definitely want to read Caraval this year, this fall. And I ordered the sequel to Go Hex Yourself, and it will be here tomorrow. I would like to read those 2 books. I think I might finish the season and these videos with the sequel to Go Hex Yourself, because that's the book I started with. Also, I don't think I'm going to jump into the second Nightshade audiobook because I'm still reeling from the first book that I want a little gap. Okay, I'm going to take my time. Anyway, I just had to point out, Jordan, I know you won't see this, but I'm very proud of you. Also, I know from talking to her and just following her, she tried to get published for so long. I think in the back of her book it says 12 years, and I like her so much. I do. Not to mention, can we talk about the sprayed edges? Anyway, that's enough yapping. The side thing, the little side tangent that I wanted to go on right now is it's really a shame that I didn't have a montage for Leave Me Behind. Did you hear me just break my hair? It's a really, really sad day that I didn't have montage footage for this book, and I didn't want to fake it and just take random clips because I had such a good spooky little song that would have gone with this. So I'm just saying, we could like play it and dance a little.
Hands that reach but never touch me. Eyes that bleed through the screen. Dance for me, my pixelated dream. Eyes so big and hungry. Help me, I can't help myself. If I can't have you, no one can. I love red, I love red. There's nobody who can understand. I love red, I love red. Broken apart, how you found me. Longing virtually. I believe in what you mean to me. Do you feel the same thing? Help me, I can't help myself. If I can't have you, no one can. I love red.
Okay, we have to write my card to my mom, and look at this one. This one's so cute. You are just fantastic. And then it says, hope your Halloween is frightfully delightful. And I'm gonna write in it real quick. I can't stop sneezing again. All right, so inside, I wrote, it's getting cold out. This week I challenge you to grab something warm, coffee, hot chocolate, soup, and cuddle up with a blanket. Love you. Short and sweet. And then I drew his little face on the card. All right, hi guys. So I have finished Caraval. Have I lost my voice? Okay, anyway, it's very late. But I did read most of this book when I wasn't at home and when I wasn't really expecting to read it, so I don't have a ton of footage, but I was taking notes on my phone again. So, okay, the biggest thing, gosh, Caraval was one of those books that I bought that was really popular for so long, and when I got into reading, I got it because of how popular it was, and it just seemed so unique. And then it's been sitting on my shelf for 2 years. I really knew nothing about the book other than it was a carnival that showed up once a year, and you get to compete and you get a wish. I went all this time without knowing anything about it. And then I was an idiot. I looked up fan art, which is usually what gets me. And then, okay, then I looked up fan art, and I saw, when I tell you, like, I saw so many spoilers that I didn't anticipate just by looking at fan art, like this one, it like legit, I can't even explain the kind, because usually you'll get like spoilers just through the pictures, but there was full on, like, like this one picture showed up that showed, let's say 2 people's last name, and it happened to be the same. So I will get back to that in a second, but no, you know what, I'll say it now. So I didn't dislike the book, but I also wasn't I wasn't like reaching for, like, it wasn't just sitting down and me being like, I need to reach for this book. I kind of was just doing other things. And it's not because it was bad. I honestly think I was just getting burnout on reading. And it is such a whimsical book. And I hadn't been reading fantasy or anything like that. So it was just such a jump to do. And unfortunately for me, eventually knowing those spoilers made me want to keep going just to see how it all played out. But I feel like getting those spoilers in the moment, like as they happened in the book instead of me seeing them on Pinterest, would have taken this book to like the next level for me. That's fine, that was my own fault. However, I knew most of these spoilers. There were still a couple parts in this book that got me like, what? Like I was like, what? Huh? Especially the end when it comes to Tella, because I also didn't know that the rest of the trilogy, it's not just based around Scarlet, and I didn't know how I felt about that. But then you kind of find out like the sneaky little twisty thing that Tella does. And I don't think that's a huge spoiler, but anyway, reading that at the end of the book made me excited for her book, especially because unfortunately I know who Legend is. I think. I'm pretty sure. And I'm like 99% sure I know who it is. And like I said, the whole last name thing. Anyway, okay. No, then I do know who it is because I saw the last, okay, you know what? I know who it is. Which, sometimes spoilers are fun because you know when you go reread a book and you know everything and we can see all the like little Easter eggs or foreshadowing. That's great. I'm okay with it being spoiled who Legend was, even though it makes you guess a couple times in the first book. That would have been fun to have that like genuine reaction. I'm okay with knowing who Legend was. Like that spoiler was the first one I got and like whatever. I also got a spoiler with who Scarlet ends up with because I thought she ends up with Legend. So sorry, spoiler. I think the last name thing got me. And then there's a whole like, I don't know if it comes up again. I saw it in like a comment. I don't know how prominent it is in the story. It was like grazed over in the first book, but I'm pretty sure there's like immortality in this book. Okay, you know what? I don't want to spoil it for you if you haven't read it. I will say the further I got into, I will say, okay, I wasn't dragging my feet with it and I wasn't disliking it, but like I said, I wasn't like reaching for it all the time. But when I did reach for it, it just read really fast. Like before I knew it, I was like, I'm like 100 pages in, I'm 150 pages in. But it did keep getting better and better. I think I just wasn't in the headspace for it when I started it. It is really good, and I really want to read the second one. I kind of want to read it now, but I have other books that I guess are higher on my TBR for the rest of this month. However, if I had time for it, I would like to read the next one for spooky season, but it is what it is. I can read it in November. So I guess that is all I need to say about Caraval. I did actually really like it, and I have continued to think about it, and I just want to go to like an old-fashioned carnival with like the black and white tents and like, I have a unicycle. If I'm brave, I'll put a clip in here. I can't ride it, not anymore. I could probably still jump on it. I haven't done that in a long time, so I don't think we're gonna do that. However, I can go grab it before I leave. So I'm going to wrap this video up here. I read 3 books. I really liked them all. And I read one graphic novel. I know I didn't really talk about it that much. I enjoyed it too. I'd pick up the next one if I found it cheap. And then I haven't stopped thinking about Caraval. And then Leave Me Behind was a big shocker. Yeah, Leave Me Behind was a big shocker because I didn't anticipate to like it the way that I did. It's not like my favorite book in the world, but I also haven't stopped thinking about it, and like the vibe of it, I'm like craving it. And she has like 2 more books coming out this year that are set in that world but follow other people, and I'm excited. Like I liked it, and like I already said it when I reviewed the book, but it was just enough dark romance for me, but it pushed a couple lines for me, but I expected it. But going in, because I've accidentally read things that were just too much or heard reviews or people talk about things that were too much, I was skeptical that it was going to ruin the story for me. Most of the things did not. I kind of just was able to go past it because she also didn't dwell on the things. She didn't take up 10 pages on something because it wasn't the only selling factor of the book. I don't think everybody's going to like it, and that's fine. But I'm excited for the next, books in that world. So, I'm gonna get my unicycle, try not to hurt myself, and then I will see you next time.